GM everyone. Hello and welcome to another Developers Guild. Today I am very excited because we will have our friends from Jupiter here, specifically said from Jupiter DevRel. And I'm happy to have them here. My name is Mike Pavel. I am the DevRel at Super Team Germany. So I'm very excited to have fellow DevRels with me today. And without further ado, let's welcome Fiji and Konstantinos to the stage.
GM.
Hello, guys. Hello. How are you doing? Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for coming, GM. Also, I'm happy to see you. I know that we have lots of Solana members here, but maybe we'll also have some from Jupiter joining us. I'm very excited for that.
That would be amazing. So give me a second. I'm just reposting from our official account the stream. But you can keep the conversation. I would just need one minute.
Yeah, sure thing. How we will structure it today, the devs from Jupiter have prepared a presentation, and we will keep it very open. If you have any questions or anything you want to add, just put it in the chat and we will try to answer it as we go. And afterwards we will have like a Q&A session, have like a relaxed talk. If you want to ask Fiji and Konstantinos something personally, feel free to do so. Today is the chance. And yeah, I'm looking very forward to what they will show us.
Yes. I'm also posting, one second, I'm also posting in the Discord so that everyone gets notified.
So we're live on X and on YouTube as well.
Yes, we are live on X and YouTube at the same time.
Nice. Technology.
Exactly. Yeah, we're using Streamer, which is a nice platform to do both at the same time.
All right. So I think we are more or less ready. So we have prepared a small presentation for everyone who has been in Berlin. Let me first try to share my screen first, that everything works. So presenting.
Yeah, in Berlin, Konstantinos is referring to the Berlin Blockchain Week that we had.
Exactly.
It's a month ago already. But this was the first time where Super Team connected with the DevRel at Jupiter. So there's the presentation.
All right. So yeah, it's around 1 month ago. I don't remember which days. It was in probably end or beginning of June. I don't remember, or mid-June. When was it?
It should be, it was like 3 weeks ago, because it was
3 weeks ago.
2 DevRels ago.
Yes. Yeah, so actually a little bit of a history of who we are and what we do before we start with the presentation. So we are, Fiji and myself, we are active in Web3 as investors for a longer time, but we fall in love with Solana and with everything probably over a year ago, 1.5. No, as developers 1.5 years ago, and we started a community project based on Solana and Jupiter, where we did some analytics and metrics for the community. Fiji and myself, we know each other for many years now. We also work together in Web2, are living literally like 15 minutes away. So we're actually real life friends also.
Yep.
Yes. And we worked very, very hard for some community projects we do. And then we decided to start getting involved in the Jupiter ecosystem. And after Catstumble in January, we had the opportunity to start as a trial working group in the Jupiverse, doing developer relations for Jupiter. And right now it's been over 3 months. Officially, we started in March, and it's been over 3 months. And we can also touch on this, on how this will probably continue, because many of you guys in the chat probably have questions or know already that the DAO in Jupiter is undergoing some changes. But we can talk about this in the end. I would say we would start with the presentation. we have prepared here a very beautiful banner from the design and art working group that helped us creating this presentation. Shout out to them if they're in the call.
Amazing art as always.
Yes, as always. Always the best people in the Jupiterverse. So, what is Jupiter in general? So most of the people we are talking with, they don't have to be devs, but also normal people in Web3 think that Jupiter is a DEX. But in the end, it's not really a DEX. It's a DEX aggregator aggregating different DEXs and bringing the users the best routes to get best prices, best slippage. I mean, with the Ultra API, you can also you are getting best slippage. You don't need an RPC. It's actually something like a miracle for developers, because if you worked as a dev on Solana and you have to build all the swaps and everything on your own, Jupiter just takes care for you about this. We call this like a gateway to DeFi on Solana. This is how we see Jupiter. And we also have Jupiter Pro. We will have a look at this on hands-on after the presentation. We have Jupiter has around 2 trillion lifetime volume from the time that Jupiter got launched, almost 2 billion lifetime swaps. Every asset that launches on Solana is actually available on Jupiter in the next seconds. So literally almost at the same time it gets launched. And this is Jupiter, the company. And in the past 1.5 years, the DAO was created. I mean, it's maybe 1.5 years. I think it was March 24, right?
Yeah, somewhere there, I think.
And out of this, different working groups got built. The working groups are people from the community who have done work for the community. It's not only for developers. And we and also Dan and Aman, the other 2 members of the DevRel, we created the DevRel working group, where we are in a trial phase right now. But there are also other working groups like the Design and Art working group, Jup and Juice working group, Uplink, of course, the Cadets working group. So Jupiter gave the opportunity to people in the Jupiterverse through the DAO to create working groups and work in public with people all over around the world. And focusing on Jupiter DevRel now, what we do, our main mission, we see ourselves as the bridge between 3 things. It's the developers, it's the DAO, and it's the core team. So there is a triangle, and we are in the middle, trying to connect with people who are building on Jupiter. We are helping them by monitoring the developer support on Discord. Together with some team members, we also update the docs. We have a GitHub repository that we work on where we create examples, but we will see all this later on in the presentation. And our main goal is to give mentorship and help to people who want to build on Jupiter and explore Jupiter products via the APIs that Jupiter provides. Now, who we are. So I'm actually Konstantinos. I'm the first one here. I have a different tag, but most of the people know me as Konstantinos. I'm actually leading the DevRel working group at Jupiter at the moment. Then we have Fiji. Maybe Fiji, you want to say some words about yourself?
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. You gave a good introduction in the beginning as well. So from my side, in my role here in the DevRel, started first, of course, with the Jupiter support, the developer support. So it was a process for me as well to learn, because I wasn't so experienced as a developer in the Web3 space. So it was a process of me of understanding the products, understanding Solana, how Solana works. Let's start with the basics, of course. And through there, we continued with Python SDKs, Python examples, code examples, contributing to open source community projects from the team, etc., etc. So yeah, pretty much that's me.
So Fiji is our trenches manager, as you can see.
That's the second best title.
So actually, a little joke. When we were sitting in Berlin 3 weeks ago, before we held our presentation, we had the slides and there were only our tags, our X tags under our names. And we were like, we need to bring something fun in it. We have to bring something fun in it. And we were sitting in Berlin in the Web3 hub when we came up with these names. So Fiji is our trenches manager. I'm actually the one talking to humans because, you know, devs are just sitting in the basement, not talking to anyone. No, jokes aside, of course not. Then we have Dan. Dan is our senior mood engineer. Dan is very valuable to our working group. He has a lot of knowledge in general about Jupiter, about Meteora, about the products, everything that is happening in the background. And then, of course, we also have Aman. Aman was officially not part of our trial working group, but we had one mission to find one more person from the community to help us. And Aman was the one who was from day one extremely active in the dev support. He was helping people with different questions. It wasn't only about supporting developers, but he has knowledge from all around the ecosystem. And meanwhile, he's an official part of our working group when we are working together, and he's our bug hunter general.
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting with Aman because he was present in the chats even before our vote passes. So we kind of knew him from the chats even before that. So it was very easy to onboard him. And Dan, as you said, he also has a very good experience with Meteora. So he, in my opinion, he bridges a big gap between Jupiter and Meteora. So he's also very, very valuable in the team for sure.
Yes, and this is who we are. So for the next step, next slide, actually, when we started our DevRel working group, our trial, we realized that everything started from the dev support. So our main goal was actually to help the team with the dev support and with all the requests that are coming from community members and from companies who are using already Jupiter and are built on Jupiter and want help. And then we realized that helping in the dev support and in Discord isn't enough. So we need something like we needed something like a place where people can go and find examples, find example projects, example scripts. And meanwhile, we have a GitHub organization that we're going to show exactly after the presentation. We're going to show, we're going to have a look at this. And in the end, this is an organization that has different repos in different languages from TypeScript, Python, Rust. I think we have something on Swift going on at the moment.
Swift, Dart, yes.
Dart, exactly. Dart
Go.
too.
I don't remember if you mentioned Go.
Yes, Go too. And it's important to emphasize that this is all community driven. So we started with a backbone. So we did like the TypeScript examples, we did the Python SDK, actually Fiji did the Python SDK. And then we found members in the community who are building on Jupiter. And for example, the latest SDK we migrated is the Rust SDK. Shout out to Srishnak. I don't know if I say his name right, but he's the one who built the Rust SDK. Yeah. And it's actually leveraging all the Jupyter APIs in the Rust SDK so that someone can come and plug in the SDK and build on Jupyter. And besides that, we also maintain some community projects. For example, okay, I will not spoil because we will see afterwards. But there are some community projects that the community has built or the community is monitoring, and we are taking care of this so that builders are feeling at home when building on Jupiter.
Yeah. There's a question now, actually, what's the best way to contribute to the Jup dev community? I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Yes, let me check. Santosh, hello. Thank you for the question. So what's the best way? So we realized that the Jupiverse is very big. So there are many people building around Jupiter, and many people have ideas, but they haven't done a lot of hands-on, or they haven't really put work and time into their ideas, and they just come with ideas and expect people to even sometimes realize the project, sometimes work with them. our recommendation is to start building something, and every Thursday, I don't know if we will have tomorrow on Thursday our Vibe Code with DevRel call. This is a weekly dev call we have in the Jupiter Discord where community builders are coming and we showcase their projects. So in the end, you have all these APIs we will have a look at from the documentation that Jupiter provides for community members and community builders. And you just have to bring up an idea and build on it. And we are here to support you. We are here to showcase your work because we know how hard it is to build when no one is noticing what you do. Yeah, that's more it. And if you mean contribute more officially, there is actually no official grant schema right now for developers and for builders. But this is something that we have addressed. And this is probably going to come in the next month, but we cannot make any promises now because this is uncertain at the moment. But what we definitely want is we want builders to build on Jupiter, and we want to grant these builders for their ideas and the things they do. I don't know if this answers your question, or maybe Fiji, you...
You said it was at 7 p.m. each Thursday?
UTC is 5 p.m. I think.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Depends on what time zone.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This was Swiss time. That's why I said 7.
Yeah.
But if it's UTC, it's 5 p.m. UTC every Thursday.
All right. We'll change that.
But tomorrow, most likely, we will not have this call because there is a Jup rally like 1.5 hours ago. And most of the time, it goes around 2 hours, sometimes 2.5.
No.
So depending on how much the call is going to last.
And people are usually tired of long calls and don't really want to do consecutive calls. So yeah, we will see.
Makes sense.
And of course, if you have ideas or if you're building something or if you need support, you can just hop into the Discord, the Jupiter Discord, and there are 3 channels. There's a dev voice chat, there is a dev support channel, and there is also a dev general chat where you can just come and yap with different builders building on Jupiter and on Solana. All right. So what do we have next? Next slide. All right. So the backbone of everything where the community can build on, of everything that Jupiter is exposing to public, it can be found in the docs, and the docs are dev.jup.ag. We will have a small introduction live from the docs after the presentation, but you can imagine this something like the single source of truth, where if you need something and you need to build on Jupiter, you just head over this docs and you can find all the public APIs, all the instructions, all the examples, everything you might need.
Yeah.
I don't know, Fiji, do you want to touch on this maybe because you've spent...
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think it's the most important tool someone can use right now if they're building on Jupiter, because the team is making sure always to keep them up to date, and they are usually very rapid changes. There might be a request and from the community for a new change, and if it's something that is feasible, the team might deliver in the next days or something. So they are always up to date. The YY helps a lot there, and also Dan, they work together on this one, and they make sure that the docs are up to date. It's very important that you have them in your toolkit always if you're building on Jupiter.
Yes, this is right. And for everyone who knows Jupiter is shipping products like sometimes we don't even have the time to learn about what APIs have been released, and in the next couple of days there are new versions, new APIs. Lately we got the latest token API released. We have the latest search API released. This is a very powerful tool for any devs around who know how it is to build a search tool about all the Solana tokens around. Jupiter is just taking care for this, and it's actually for free. So so why not use it? You can just take it and use it, and why not? it's a gift.
It's a blessing.
Or it's a blessing, exactly. So actually, if you're building on Solana and you want to swap and you want to integrate, you want to integrate DEX functionality, because you can also do DCAs, limit orders, and very soon in the near future you will be able to have some perps APIs that are not released yet, but will be released probably in the summer. So there are many things that Jupiter gives to developers in the ecosystem, and it helps, trust me. So yeah, why build on Jupiter? We have here 5 points. The fifth one, the technical grants, we already touched on this, but let's get from the first point. Jupiter is actually free up to 60 requests per minute. So if you are building an app for your university, for your friends, for something to use case, even a productive app that hasn't 10,000s of users, you can actually use the APIs for free. And if I'm not mistaken, it's actually all APIs that are for free until 60 requests per minute.
Yes, correct.
There are different APIs. You can use the manual swap, the swap API, where you can set everything up on yourself. You have more flexibility, but of course there is the Ultra API. The Ultra API takes care of the best slippage, of the best route for you. You don't need an RPC when you're using the Ultra API. So you can actually build a swap in some, I don't know, maybe 20 lines of code.
Yeah.
We can showcase this afterwards, but you don't need an RPC to swap with the Ultra API. So Jupiter is actually taking care of everything for you to integrate swap functionality, and actually all the functionality Jupiter provides in your application for free, and is taking, if I'm not mistaken, 0.05%. And for some pairs, store USDC, I think it's actually 0. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, Fiji.
Yeah, 0 to 10 bips probably.
Yes.
Depends on the pair.
Depends on the pair. Yeah, so this is actually insane. And the first point, this is actually something that also got released, I think 1-2 months ago. You can monetize your own fees. So if you are with your own fees, sorry. So if you're building an application and you have some traffic and people are swapping and are using the Jupiter functionality in your application, you can set your own fees. So you can actually make money out of using the Jupiter APIs in your application. Of course, you have to make sure that you get traffic, but this is up to you with your brilliant ideas, guys, to build and and monetize your application. But to be honest, I don't know if this is possible on every protocol to integrate DeFi actions in your application with 20 lines of code and then some configs to also monetize your application. It's actually very cool. And maybe on the last part, again, technical grants. This is something that we have addressed, that we have on our agenda. We want to incentivize people to build on Jupiter. We are just we're just waiting right now to get some approvals here and then, but we are quite sure that in the near to mid future there will be some technical grants for community members, community builders building on Jupiter. All right, next one. So we call this section plug and play on Jupiter. We actually have 2 applications. One is the Jupiter Terminal and one is the Jupiverse Kit. The Jupiter Terminal is a small product. You can imagine this like a small Jupiter terminal that can be integrated in your application, where you have all the swap functionality with literally some lines of code. And that's why we call this plug and play, because you just put this in the root of your application. And now, meanwhile, Ultra is integrated there too, so you don't need an RPC, and you have swap via the Ultra API of Jupiter in your application. And on the other side, we have the Jupiverse Kit. Jupiverse Kit is actually something that Dan has built. Dan, who is also part of the DevRel, has built this before he became member of DevRel. So I think he did this in October, November 2024. And this is a React component library that integrates different Jupyter features. And if you're building with React, you can just import the components, or import the library, install the library and import the components in your application. And you're actually ready to go with different functionality. All right, then we have Jupyter Mobile. Jupyter Mobile is a flagship product for Jupyter. It's actually an iOS and Android app you can download on your phone. It's actually one of the easiest way to onboard friends, because meanwhile with you have an option with QR codes to invite people who haven't the Jupyter Mobile, who are not onboarded in Web3, and this is actually taking from fiat to Sol less than a minute. So for on-ramp, you can actually connect your credit card, Visa, whatever you have, and you can load up some Sol in your wallet and directly swap in the Jupyter mobile app. Maybe some words on this. This is also an application that this time Aman has built. Maybe Fiji, do you want to touch on this?
Yes. Should I talk about this or demo? Do you think it's better? Probably I have to do some work, so probably no. I can just talk about it. Yeah. So
sure.
This is a tool that Aman made just to showcase what can be done using the Ultra APIs. This, in my opinion, is a very nice use case. I like it a lot. So the concept is that you have a wallet with different tokens, different meme coins, and you want to clean it up. Let's say maybe you had a lot of airdrops, or you were a bit of a degen swapping different tokens, and now you want to let's say clean up your wallet and swap everything to Solana or Jupyter or whatever. So the concept here is that with the sweeper, you can actually swap everything that you have into Jup. So you clean up all the tokens that you have. You can exclude some tokens, for example, if you want to keep, let's say, USDC, you don't want to sell that. Then you just select which tokens you want to keep, and everything else can be swept and converted into Jup. And the second part is that you can also close associated token accounts that are just keeping some rent. So you can actually claim some rent back from open accounts that there's no reason for them to be open. So yeah, it's a good tool to clean up your wallet. And why I like this a lot is because it's using the Ultra Swap. So you can swap your tokens into Jup using the Ultra API. You can fetch the balance of a wallet. So this is the balance API of Ultra again. You can pass in a public address wallet, and it returns the balance of all the tokens that are in this wallet. And it is also using the sealed API, which the purpose of the sealed API is to give you warnings and alerts of the tokens that you pass in. So you might have in your wallet tokens that are not tradable. For example, there are cases with meme coins. I think it was usually with pump fund coins. I might be wrong, but there are small cap coins that you might buy them, and when you try to sell them, there is no liquidity. So if you put this token in the sealed API, it will tell you that this token is not sellable, or in this case, you might want to avoid buying it. In our case here, because we are cleaning up the wallets, if a token is not sellable, then there is no reason to try and sell it, because there will be no liquidity, the transaction will fail. So this is what this UI does. It checks if a token is sellable and then includes it in the list. Otherwise, it's not included. Yeah, pretty much an overall good use case.
Maybe one question while we are here. Let's say you have 5 tokens that you would like to sweep to Jup. Do you bundle those transactions, or are they executed like after one another?
Yeah, so I have to check the code actually of Aman, how he did it, but earlier, because I had another presentation with the same similar slides, let's say, and I did a cleanup of all these, like these 5 tokens that you see in the screenshot. It actually was one transaction, so I have to check how Aman did. I have to check the code. I'm not sure if he did it with Ultra. He might also have done it with Swap. I have to check. But yeah, in this project, it's done in one bundle altogether.
I see. So similar to G2 bundles, for example.
Yes.
Nice.
And you could also, of course, loop through all the tokens and swap this one by one. This is also possible.
Yeah.
And
this is also possible. Yeah.
You save some gas there. So that
for sure. The thing is, now that you mention it, that with Ultra API, specific pairs though, not all pairs are supported, but you can also have gasless transactions. So there is this concept called RFQ, request for quote, which is routed through Jupiter Z. And the idea is that instead of you checking which is the best offer in the market, which offer is the best in the market, when, let's say, I want to swap SOL to USDC, I say, I want to swap one SOL to USDC. Jupiter says, okay, I have this person that wants to swap one SOL, and all the different routers and market makers need to make a bidding war, let's say, and give the best offer. So it's the other way around, right? I'm not setting for the offers. The market makers make an offer, and the best one wins. And also, they have to pay for the gas. And because it's a request for a quote, it's the other way around. There is no slippage. So it's 0 slippage, 0 fees. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Exactly.
Very cool tech. And do you have the website or the link to the website so I can post it here so people can see?
Good point. Yep, I will put it in the chat.
Nice.
And the source code is also in our GitHub repository. Yeah.
There you go. For those of you who want to look into that. And is it only that you can swap to Jupiter, or do you also support other coins? Let's say you want to swap to Solana.
Everything is possible. I mean,
you can change the code for you.
I mean, of course, it's we did this project. I mean, Aman came up with this project to support a little bit and show how the Ultra API is used, and that's why the Jupiter token is hard coded right now. But of course, you can clone the repo and do your own version with whatever you want. Code is open source. And actually, I don't even think, I mean, if you're a dev and you have some experience in Web3 and even in Web2, because all these are like normal HTTP requests, you can find this out via the docs and build your own application. Very straightforward.
Very nice. So you have multiple projects open sourced on your GitHub, right?
Yes. Let me share the GitHub organization.
You can send it.
Yeah, you sent it already. Yeah,
yep.
In the chat. But we can also showcase this. Let's go very, very fast through the slides. I don't think we have to spend.
I think that we're through pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here is actually the demo. All right. So let me stop sharing this screen. And I will try to share my complete browser.
Maybe in the meantime, can you tell us more about the GitHub? Who is responsible for it? Is it just the DevRel team, or is it the whole network of Jupiter contributors?
So we actually created the GitHub. It is in our responsibility. And we also set up some rules that if someone wants to integrate or bring a project under the GitHub, under the Jupiter GitHub umbrella, we have some prerequisites that this repo has to get under our umbrella, migrated to our repository, to our organization. Then the person becomes a member in our organization, has access to its own repo, but cannot merge on its own. One of the core members, one of us, has to accept the pull request. And then for some of these, for example, for the Rust SDK, we also have a pipeline that automated releases a new version. And this can also not be triggered by the person who created the repo. So there is a little bit of gatekeeping, because after bringing a repo under our umbrella, there is always the risk that if we want to promote it and if we want to show to the community that they can use this, we also want to have our stamp on it that this is safe. And by keeping everything public and everything completely community driven, there is risk, because there might be people around who don't have the best intentions, and then a lot can happen.
Yeah, totally makes sense. But yeah, that people can contribute as well. So what would be the way of getting to that point? Is it like starting off first with the vibe coding sessions that you have each week, and then like talking to you, showcasing what you've done and so on?
So we are actually always available in the Discord. So in the general Discord chat, if someone comes and has ideas or wants to bring up something they've built, we have, if I'm not mistaken, we've done already 12 sessions, where in some sessions we invite 2 or 3 people who are building, and then we showcase their work. Some people are extremely advanced and have already projects with real customers. Other people are building ideas, and this is completely fine. I mean, you have to start somewhere, somehow. And as devs, we all know it's extremely hard when you're building something to get some recognition. So our goal with our session every Thursday is to find people who are really motivated and, of course, are using Jupyter, because there are people building other things, but we are focusing on people who build on Jupyter. And this is how everyone starts. And we have several projects and several people who came up, and now they keep building bigger and better. And they're, of course, also happy to get feedback from other community members and from us too, or stay up to date with all the updates.
Yes. And there are people that just dived into contributing without really hesitations or talking with us. So there was a gap with SDKs. The only SDK that existed back then was the TypeScript SDK. We started as DevRel. One of the initiatives was to start a Python SDK, which all happened. And then we saw like people coming up. We didn't even, some of them we had spoken, with some of them we had not spoken before. And then we had the Go SDK, the Rust SDK, the Swift, the Dart. So people would see a gap and would just contribute and create a project and come in contact with us and say, okay, look, I built this cool thing. So it's more about doing when you see a gap and when you have an idea, and then getting some feedback on it. And the repos are public. Everyone can make when they see that something is missing or they can implement something, they can make a pull request, and they can come in contact.
Yeah, very nice. All right, didn't want to interrupt too much, so you can.
No, of course, it's so good. I took the risk now to share my wall screen. This is always the thing, sharing the complete screen, but yeah. All right, so I think you guys can see my screen, right?
Yep.
All right, so this is actually the main page of our official developer docs. And under the APIs, you can find different sections from getting started, what someone needs to set up an environment, some development basics. I don't really think we have to stay and talk about this a lot. We will focus a lot on the Ultra API in this one, but maybe we can see some other APIs like the token API. Let me guess here. Sorry.
Yes.
Price API, for example.
Yeah.
So since
go to
I think
V3 actually on the left menu, because for the new version, yeah.
Yes. So for example, if someone wants to fetch prices, there is meanwhile the V3 version that is very fresh, I guess 1-2 weeks, maybe a little bit more. And someone can just fetch some prices. I can maybe showcase this very fast. My Postman. And you get some prices. So this is the Jup token. And this is Solana, of course. And with a light API up to 60 requests per minute, you can actually use this for free and get some prices of some tokens. You can also see price changes, decimals, etc., what the price of a token is. Some other APIs we have, we could go to the Ultra. For example, the get balances API. This is something that Fiji showed in the sweeper. But if we go to SolScan, for example, and find a transaction that happened on Solana, maybe we can take this wallet here. And can we get the right here? Get balances.
Yeah, /balances.
Yeah, /balances. Get them here, and then I think it's
it's
slash. And you get an address. Let's get this address here. I don't know. It's a random address. And you can get, okay, it has just some sol. Yeah, let's get the Jito tip 5. Yeah, this address, for example, has many other tokens. And like this, you can just fetch and see how many tokens and the amount of the tokens an address holds at this moment of time. Actually, very, very simple. And it's just an HTTP request with a token in the URL. The same thing you can do, the balance is also to do the shield. You can use the shield API to, I think it's mint.
Yeah.
Mint. And if we go to Jup AG, and maybe we can find a token here. This is NFA, of course. I'm just going to pick a random token somewhere
here.
You
can take USDC just to be safe. Oh, okay.
Okay, sorry. No, I didn't click this. So let's get USDC. And we get this one. And I mean, of course, USDC has not many warnings or many. The idea behind this endpoint, behind the Shield API, is to give you some information about the token you have found, and you want to know something. I mean, on USDC, it's probably not so interesting because USDC is one of the most popular tokens on Solana.
But still, you see some warnings like mint has mint authority. So yeah, yes. Of course, obviously, you can the owner can mint USDC coins. That's the purpose of it. But yeah, that would be nice in the token to be able to mint tokens.
Yes, exactly. But let's take WIF, for example. I mean, NFA, but WIF is very, very popular. Let's see what's going on with WIF. No warnings.
Yeah, warnings, yeah.
Maybe we can...
I want to pick like a random, like the first token that was just launched.
Let's get Michi first. Oh man, come on. It's just because we're just...
Yeah, go to the pro and like get the one that was just launched. So.
Popular, top traded, organic.
AlphaScan.
AlphaScan. Okay, let's get this one. This just launched like some minutes ago or some seconds ago.
Seconds, yeah.
And here we can see this token is not verified. It has low organic activity. It's a new listing. So you're actually taking a list of warnings. This is how it's called from the Ultra API that indicates what is happening with this token. So you have some ideas. You want to trade it. You want to do anything with this token. And before you start doing any activity, you can build up something like a security mechanism. That's why it's also called Shield. To have some checks and see if it's legit or not, or even if your user in your application wants to trade or have any activity with this token. What else do we have? We have the search and the search API. This is actually also very, very new. And let me check. I don't know by heart. Query. Yeah. And
you can type whatever, actually.
We can put the mint and we will get Solana here, wrapped sol, and you get a lot of information. I mean, this is just a search. Of course, the easiest thing you can do with an endpoint like this is to build up a search mechanism like Jupiter has. So if we go to if we go to Jup AG and we search for a token here, that is what is happening in the background. So if I click for Solana, or if I put in the mint, we will get the token. But it's not only this information you get. You also get much more: circulating supply, total supply, the pools, how many holders the token has, in which sexes it's listed, the tags. I mean, this is very powerful information. This is actually extremely cool. And let me, if I put something random, yeah. There are so many tokens on Solana, so I think whatever I would search, I will find something. Let's go for super team. Yeah, here we go. Super team. There are some tokens. NFA guys in the call, so I don't know if this is legit or not. I don't know if this is legit or not, but we are just trying out the APIs here. So I don't even know what I'm typing. I'm going to type my name. Yeah, there are no tokens in my name. All right, Fiji. Okay, it's okay. All right, so yeah, this is the power of the Ultra API. You can actually literally in some seconds you can head up to the docs. Let me find here the docs again, and here you can also get an order, because to execute a swap, what is happening in the background? You as a user want to swap some tokens on Solana. So let's say I want to swap something here. I want to swap 0.005. What is happening? A quote is happening first. So I'm actively asking to swap something. And this is why you see that the rate all the time also changes. And after I'm getting an order back, I have to use this order I'm getting out of this API here. So you can put an input mint and an output mint. So I want to swap from A to B. And you can also, there are different parameters you can use, the amount, the taker, and whatever. And this will answer with a body. You're going to take this body and put this in the execute API. Then, of course, this order has to be signed by the user. Yeah. And after it's signed, it's gone. It happens.
You need to sign the transaction pretty much, and you don't need an RPC.
Yes. And you don't need an RPC. And for everyone who's building on Solana, you guys know having RPCs is a pain. We check the balances API, we check the shield API, the search API. This is everything under the Ultra umbrella. So this is actually the more advanced API, from the side that the user has to do much less work to get to something. So from this side, it's advanced. But of course, there's also the normal swap API you can use, where you can, again, get a quote, build a swap transaction. This is a little bit more complicated to do the swap on your own, but I have the organization open. So this is our GitHub organization. And there are examples for everything. You can see here we have the Jup SDK. This is the sweeper we saw, the Rust SDK. We have some CPI examples, Python examples. And if we go to TypeScript, for example, and you're new and you want to see how to swap, you just get into this repo, and you have different, even with swap instructions, something that is actually a little bit more complicated. But for everyone who's interested, there are really advanced examples here on how you can build with your own swap instructions a swap. So we're not going to go through the code now, but this is somehow the idea. And in Ultra, we also have the sweeper, order and execute, source example. This looks much more slick. And if you don't know how to do this and the docs don't help you a lot, just hop into our Jupiter DevRel organization. In every language you might be working, TypeScript, Python, Rust. And there are also some other repositories over here. And if you're building in a language that we're not supporting, feel free to reach out, or feel free to start some examples or an SDK. Reach out to us, and we will do whatever we can to integrate your repository here. So this is a very good example that Krishnak built, the Rust SDK on Jupiter, and we integrated his repo under our umbrella. This is him. Shout out to Krishnak. Yes, exactly. This is it. What else do we have? What can we show? We have the Jupiter terminal. I touched a little bit on this in the presentation.
Maybe before we continue, because we were in the APIs, we got a question from Santosh. Are there any accounts or CPIs to get these prices on-chain instead of off-chain APIs? So I think he's referring to, do you have oracles dealing with this?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the users, there's not something available for that. They probably need to look up for for a different provider for that, or I guess some people figure out stuff, and check how things work and can figure it out. But yeah, officially, that Jupiter recommends fetching the price from the price API. Yeah. That's the official guidance.
I mean, if the question is if it's technically possible, of course it is. But via Jupiter, of course, we are going to show the Jupiter APIs and the Ultra API and how to get some balance sheets, tokens, prices, etc.
Okay, so from the Jupiter's perspective, you have only the APIs, and Oracles is not something that Jupiter provides.
I'm not 100% sure, but definitely not officially. Okay. So we don't have this in our docs.
Sure not, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I think that should answer the question.
Then we can have a very quick look just to see how much lines of code the Jupiter terminal needs to get integrated in your application. So you can have a widget in your application that this is this widget down here. So if I change for integrated, I go to widget, it will appear here. And this is how it will look in your application. If you actually just put this in your main HTML and add the window, this will open and you actually have a ready to go swap for your application with, I would say 5 lines of code. We can get the command out. You can do this as an integrated terminal. You can do this as a model that if someone clicks, it pops up. And this is already supporting Ultra. So in the past, if someone was using it, you had to have your own RPC behind the scenes. But now Ultra is integrated. So with just some lines of code, you can actually put this in your application. You're ready to go to swap with the Ultra API. And here you can also find out how you can add fees to monetize your application. So this is actually also a very straightforward step-by-step how it works with code examples, how you can do this to create your actually referral account for every token. And then in the end, I don't remember the URL by heart, but there is jupe.referral.ag, I think.
Referral.
You can go there.
Jupe.ag.
Yes, exactly. Referral.jupe.ag. And there you can claim your fees. So if people are trading via your referral accounts in your application, you can actually make money out of Jupiter. Yes, I think that's more it. Okay, I see this endless loop here now. Let me stop.
That one, perfect. Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. It was a very insightful and lots of things covered. I think it was very insightful for the audience as well.
Yeah.
Let me check.
We had also Björn in the audience.
Oh,
big guy.
Björn. Hello, Björn. I also see Adeda in the chat. Adeda is leading the design and art working group at Jupiter, and she's the one who created the slides for us. So thank you very much for this, Adeda. She has been always very supportful. Even the mascot we have is done by her team. So thank you very much for this.
Yeah. I asked her for changes on Sunday, if I remember correctly, and it seemed like in an hour or so had all the changes done.
Nice. Yeah, the slides were beautiful. So shout out there. Yeah, like maybe I would have one question. Not sure if you know it, but
yes,
why is it called jupe.ag?
Oh wow. Okay, let me ask Rock. No, just kidding. To be honest, I don't know where AG comes from, and I'm sorry for people who are watching if you are disappointed, but I don't know.
I don't know either. Crazy.
I don't know either. Just out of curiosity.
Jupe.ag. What can AG be?
Jupe.com exists though, and it's claimed by Jupiter now. But AG, that's a good question.
I've been wondering it for a long time.
So if everyone knows in the chat, just be free.
Yeah, feel free. Maybe one of other questions, because you mentioned that if you would want to contribute to the DevRel space, you would have to become a member, right? Then is there like some official onboarding for members, or is it just like a casual thing that you see people committing to Discord, contributing, building something, and then have the member title in a sense?
You can actually become a member literally in 1 minute by joining the Discord. There are different roles for people who are part of this. You can become a cadet. You can become a COC, a cat of culture. And these are ranks that can be given to people. It's not only about developers. Everyone can get this role. Cadets are people who are actively contributing in any possible way in the Jupiverse. So even if you're in the chat, talking with people, answering questions, if you're joining the calls, getting active and talking about different topics, you can become a cadet. And becoming a COC, a cat of culture, is a little bit more difficult. It will probably need more time, but there's actually a vote happening. So people are giving examples or are saying, for example, that we want to bring Mike as a COC, a cat of culture, and then all the cat of cultures are going to vote with yes or no. And if it's more than 50%, you will become a cat of culture. And for devs, there's actually no specific role. You can just join the Discord right now and yap with us about anything you want. There is also a voice channel where you can come and join and talk with us about everything.
Nice. And the voting that you mentioned is of the official Jupiter DAO, or is it some other voting?
No, this is some other voting. This is an internal voting that cats of culture only do. So you don't need Jup for this. You have to be a cat of culture, of course, to get access to this voting mechanism. If I'm not mistaken, there are around 60 to 70 cat of cultures right now. Mm-hmm. So there are not many people. I see in the chat that Adela said AG.
We have
so aggregator. All right.
Aggregator, right?
Yes. Makes absolutely sense.
Yeah.
Or agriculture. No.
I don't think so.
We have some latecomers. Yeah, it's never too late to join. So if you have any questions, you can always type them in the chat as we go. There's no late arrivals.
Of course, guys, we here. If you guys have questions, we can also extend a little bit. We're completely fine with this.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, also, one thing I have like maybe sort of personal question. Don't know if you want to answer it, but you mentioned at the very beginning that you start from Web 2 and came to Web 3. So what was the motivation, or like how was the change for you personally?
That's a very good question. I think we can be transparent enough to say that we are still involved in Web 2. The thing is, Web 2 is more or less like investing is in the S&P 500. You know, it's like it's very stable. Of course, it has some returns, and you will get some money as a programmer and everything. But you cannot move things in Web 2. Web 2 is more or less done. It's not done. Maybe that's the wrong word, but there is not a lot of innovation coming. Maybe with AI right now, there are different things moving around, but in the end, it's not for me personally, it wasn't spectacular enough. And in Web3, you're able to move things to be part of a transition. There is, of course, more risk in being in Web3 compared to Web 2. But we are young, and if we don't take risks today, then when?
Yeah, nice words. I feel the same way. But I mean, in being part of Jupiter, like, can you tell us how you became even like in this position? Because starting off from Web 2 or like a Web 2 full-time position, it might be very hard to even join somewhere, and especially in some place like Jupiter.
So look, for all the people who are listening, we are not insiders. So we didn't have friends who brought us in the ecosystem. I remember in June 2024, I was in the Discord and I had no roles. So I was like a gray person talking in the gen chat and no one was answering to me. And I felt like a little bit also a lot of things are moving, a lot of things are happening. The planetary calls on Jupiter had started since March 2024. And I started joining. I thought, this is so interesting. And I started contributing by joining calls, by getting up to stage, saying my opinion. Then I shipped Jupiter to Fiji because we were working together in Web 2. And we were like, okay, let's do it. Let's just do something. I mean, we have so much knowledge. We are software engineers in Web 2 for 10 or more years. I mean, we are doing this for such a long time. Let's build something that helps the community. And we started building some metrics and analytics tools. And it actually went crazy. We built a governance analysis for the Jupiter governance, and thousands of people started using it. We got retweeted on X several times. It was really great, and that's how the first door for us opened. And then we got in, and everything became much more serious when we joined Catstanbul in January, where we met the people. We met the people from the CWG, the core working group of Jupiter, and we started talking. And in the end, that's the idea behind the DAO, that people from around the world who want to contribute do things, and then the DAO will recognize your works. And that's how we started DevRel, and it works.
Exactly. That's why we say you should do stuff, you know. That's what we also did. We started doing stuff. We actually did stuff for quite a while until it started getting recognized. But in the end, you know, it paid off, let's say.
It's a beautiful backstory. Just starting off and then seeing how it goes, and you succeeded. So I'm happy to see it happen, always.
So how about you, Mike? Tell us about you. Does anyone know your story?
I don't think so. I've never told it to the audience.
Okay, maybe you don't want to. It's okay. I mean,
no, for sure. We can do that. I mean, we are already over time, but if you're up for the story, I can tell it.
Always. Of course.
Yeah. So like maybe to answer how I started with Super Team. So I've been working with Super Team Germany over 1.5 years ago, because I am currently the president of the Aachen Blockchain Club, which is a student initiative at the RWTH in Aachen in Germany. And there we collaborate with lots of different partners. And at some point we saw that Solana is having the community calls, right? They had each month a gathering where people were talking about all the updates, what's happening new on Solana. And we saw that when we can join there, we can also talk to the super teams there. So we learn about what super team is. We talk to Carlo. We talk to all the admins there. And at some point, Björn, who was also here, he switched to, because he was the previous DevRel, he switched to Dialect and is a DevRel there. And I was still already in contact with people from Solana. Was talking with Carlo, and he told me that they have an open position, and I thought, why don't just apply for it? And the criteria was to already have some knowledge in blockchain and like have contributed to the space. And my backstory there was, in the Aachen Blockchain Club, we did lots of different presentations about blockchain technology, about everything else there, Solana as well. So that was like one criteria, which I did. Like everything we do at the club is non-profit, so I don't get paid for it. Just as you did, like for contributing to some things. This is how you grow your personal brand, and this is how I got recognized by Super Team. And yeah, right now I'm here being the DevRel Super Team Germany. Also, I'm very proud of that. And
nice.
So yeah, I think we have. Yeah, we have like a common point there, because we started off with no expectation, or like just out of free will, and it happens out that turned out really, really good for all of us. So happy to see that. Always supporting.
I think that's very cool in general, and I think there are many people in our situation, in the same situation as we are. Most of the people in Web3 probably come from Web2. Maybe the least of them started directly in Web3 without any experience, and the space feels so young, even though if you are in Solana since 2020, 2021, you might think that this has been so many years, but compared to everything else happening, I feel that there's still so much to still happen. So
of course.
Very excited.
I think in total, like even for all people watching here, I said it multiple times, if not even on every DevCo that we do, that at some point in like a couple of years or even next year, we will meet again and look back how early we actually were. It has always been in crypto every year, like dating back, you can say how early you are, and it's still the case. So you're totally right there. W stories for sure.
I mean, it's a funny story because yesterday I went with Fiji. We went to a shisha bar, and this is a specific shisha bar here where we live close by, where we go there for over a year. And I remember when we started our first contributions, we also went to the same bar and we were talking about things like, oh, let's maybe do some contributions and maybe people will see what we do. And
maybe.
then, yeah, everything was a maybe. And then there was also a phase where we start getting disappointed because we were doing things for 1, 2, 3 months and we always got stopped, or we got feedback that, oh, this is not good enough, or we might not need this and everything. But it was by pushing all the time and by doing and every day becoming a little bit better, or building setting a little bit a bigger stone on what you do, one day it becomes so big that people cannot just ignore you. And this is how it organically happened. And I really love this organic thing, that it started from the community. The community starts recognizing you when you do useful things. It's you cannot stop this. No one can stop this. If you build in public and people see what you do, the day will come and people will recognize you. So, yeah.
Some very motivational words there. And for all the three of us, it worked out. So we can just encourage everybody from the audience, if you are wanting to be some part of some ecosystem, it does not have to be Jupiter or Solana, but if you put the work in and you're just consistent about what you're doing, you will be able to achieve it. So yeah, good luck.
100% success rate between the three of us. So
Yes.
Yeah, great. I see we don't have any further questions, but I always love to ask the question, do you have any alpha for the members, or like people who are here right now for the Super Team Germany community?
For the Super Team Germany community. All right, let me think about some alpha. So what we definitely know, but this is also not a secret, is that Jupiter Land and JupNet will launch in the near to mid future. We don't really communicate, or the team doesn't really communicate dates, because communicating dates just creates FUD in the end. But we definitely know that it will be during the summer or maybe a little bit after. This is a big milestone for Jupiter. And the other alpha maybe we can say is, I don't really know if it's an alpha or not, but we are in a position right now where our trial working group ended as DevRel, because as many of you know who are watching the Jupiter space, that the DAO has put a stop right now until January of 2026. So right now we are in communications with people from the team to find out how DevRel will continue. We don't have the alpha to share because we also don't know, but we are definitely certain that DevRel will continue, but we don't know in what way it will continue. So in whatever way this happens, we definitely want to be there and support the community building on Solana in general. Yeah.
Always lovely to see that. And yeah, we need DevRels. I think we can all agree on that, from DevRel to DevRel. Also with Björn in the audience, who's also a great story, a great success story. So yeah, DevRels are definitely needed, and we'll be happy to see more of DevRel initiatives happening, not only in Jupiter, but in general on the Solana space.
Yes.
Yeah, but with that said, I thank you very much for participating in this amazing Dev Guild today. Maybe we will see each other at some part, maybe next year or in a couple of years, when everything will be huge and we can just talk about how the days were.
Yeah.
I mean, can't promise anything, but we are all here because we believe in Solana, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
Oh, exactly.
So I think we have all the same North Star, and I think I'm quite convinced that Solana will succeed in the long term. How this success will look like, no one can say, but that's why we're building on Solana.
Right. Just keep building, just believe it, and oh yeah, thank you very much. And
thank you very much too.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see you on the next Dev Guild in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.